If you really do want to get knowledge about your body as a female and you really want to change your life and you're so sick of all the solutions that have not been solving anything, so they're not really solutions, go for this program. No diet, no pill, no crazy gym routine helped me until I came into this program. Just do it. If you can do it, do it. So 5.5 months ago, I wasn't in the best place with my body or with my hormones or with functioning as a female. I think now looking at where I was, I didn't realize what I did not know, if that makes sense, and how my life and the quality of my life could drastically improve just by small changes and just by getting the correct knowledge and just by understanding how we function in this world as females. I used to think I was the problem, but I think understanding a lot of things, not just cycle syncing, but just understanding how a 28-day cycle for a female affects her, her being me, understanding how I can adapt with that, why I feel the way I feel certain in certain situations and in certain times, just all started making a lot more sense now compared to where I was before. Also, where I was before, I was in a really high stress environment, and my job was very stressful, and I was prioritizing my career and a lot of other things before my health. And I feel after I connected with you, it just gave me a sign to start prioritizing my health. And that was the period where we talked, and I understood that this type of program is something that really does work for me, or is fitting for someone like me. Um, and yeah, it was the change I feel like I really needed. So before the program, definitely was not sleeping well. So deep sleep, quality of sleep, waking up from sleep, those were three things that I was struggling with. So the quality of my sleep, getting deep sleep, and waking up from sleep. I used to sleep for hours, and it didn't feel like it was enough. I used to not get my period on times where it should be due. Also, I didn't understand a lot of what was happening with my skin, and also a lot of my PMS symptoms. So sometimes I would blame things on PMS, but then it wouldn't be PMS, and I was just really confused on what's happening with my body. And also, like, I never thought a life would exist for me without PMS symptoms. I mean, the fact that I almost have none now is just crazy and insane to me. The cramps, the bloating, again, the pimples and the breakouts, these are all things of the past. And I never thought that could be a reality, to be honest.
I love that for you so much. Like my heart is like butterflies. Um, so actually, what did you try before to try to fix those issues, right? So you're struggling with all of these symptoms. Your month felt like not the best. You had a really hard time waking up in the morning and having energy. Like, what were you trying to do to try to fix that before?
What I was trying to do to fix the issues that I was facing was, first of all, it was always me, myself, and I. So I never really reached out for help. And I guess I was a bit ashamed of reaching out and admitting that, hey, I have this, and this as an issue. So I just kept it to myself, and I was like, I will eventually find a solution. So I would go to doctors, and doctors would recommend like being on the pill, which is something that I wasn't interested in, but it was something that I unfortunately did until I realized that this isn't serving me. And it just made me feel extra hormonal and extra crazy and extra emotional, and just the word extra, emphasizing that in my experience. And I was always trying to get into workout routines where every day was the same thing, not even diets or fad diets, because I was so over that. I was overly exposed to that at a very young age, but I was at least trying to eat consistent meals. I didn't realize actually that based on where you are in your cycle, your food needs could change. What your body wants could change. And actually listening to your body and your body's cravings is really good for you. But obviously, I'm not saying if you crave chocolate, eat chocolate, but I'm saying is if you're craving chocolate, that means something. And if you have the right knowledge, you know how to work around that and you know why you're craving that because you know in which part of the cycle you're in. So, yeah, before it was basically pharmaceutical drugs, a male oriented type schedule where PTs were always like, you will lose the weight, but I never lost the weight because it was always the same thing, always the same routine, and not really something that was right for me and for my body and for my cycle.
What actually led you to say yes to working together?
So for me, I think the timing was everything because when I started this program, it was during a time where I had just got out of a really stressful phase in my life. And I was really ready to change that and change being stressed 24/7. I'm the kind of person that really wants to know what's going on with my body and getting all the knowledge. But you know, you get sometimes overwhelmed with the amount of knowledge out there. So I felt like a program, like a one stop shop to teach me everything that I need to know about how to exist in my body as a woman was exactly what I needed. And yeah, the timing was great. Was I reluctant? Was I hesitant at the start? Yes, definitely, because it felt like, okay, this is a really long program. I'm going to be investing a lot of my time and my money into this. Is it really going to be worth it? What if I do this and then it's not worth it and then I just regret losing all this time and money? But I really did take a leap of faith because I knew my intentions were to make myself and my body better. And after talking to you, you also made me feel comfortable to get in this program. And I did voice to you my concerns. And it feels like you always made me feel better whenever I had a concern. And you also adapted a few things to kind of let my concerns go away. So it felt very easy to communicate and talk to you and voice anything that was on my mind.
Knowing what you learned throughout those 5 months, do you understand why those 5 months are necessary? Do you see the difference now?
I definitely understand why you need the 5 months because it's like crazy amount of information. True, it's just a one call. It's just one call a week, but so much happens in your week, and there's so much that you can implement that you just need the 5 months. For me, the program now is ended, and I'm feeling a bit anxious. Like, what if this happens and I don't know what to do? But I genuinely feel like with all the online resources you've also made available, that I can go back to that. I can reassess things because you've been there for me for 5 months, reassessing things, tweaking things based on my needs and based on where I am in my life. So even with any hiccups we faced along the road, I feel like the length of this program serves me really well because we are real people living in a real life. So not everything happens according to plan. Plans change, things happen, people get sick, people travel, and doing a program like this makes you understand how you can exist and apply the learnings in so many different scenarios in your life.
Yeah, and I think that maybe something that people don't really see when they see a program like this is that there's a lot of coaching and support that goes onto the client, the person that I'm helping. Every single one of my clients, like we always have extensive conversations at the beginning of the call, like what was the things that weren't feeling good? What support do you need mentally? What are some challenges they need to overcome? And then we go through that. And then when maybe we go a little bit more tactical on the task in hand to explore for that week. But there's a lot of mindset shifts that need to happen for success at the end or throughout, right? Not at the end, but throughout.
Yeah, if there's also one thing that I should add, this is my first experience being coached. the program made me understand what it's like to be coached. Basically, you would change what we would cover, the amount we would cover based on my needs in each session, which I think that's the reason why you need that length. You need the 5 months and a half, because these sessions are being adjusted based on where you are on during that day.
Yeah. And we even extended the program a little bit for you because there was need for more. So like people think 5 months just fast like this. It looks
Yeah.
long, but it's really not that long. Especially when it's
Yeah.
just 1 hour per week, right? It's feels long, but it's just you get that 1 hour with me. We make the best out of it, and then you go for 7 days by yourself, and then you come back and we re-optimize. Okay, so I have an interesting question for you, which is you've gone through this program, which is called the Feminine Edge. And I would like to know from just your personal experience, what does feminine edge mean to you?
The feminine edge is looking at yourself as a female as something that is powerful rather than a weakness. Because before the program, it felt like, oh my God, I'm hormonal. I deal with this. I get a period once a month. I don't have the advantages that a male have. But the Feminine Edge program gave me that edge and made me understand, oh my God, being a female is actually so powerful. Now I know when I'm gonna be at my creative peak, so I'll utilize that time, and I'll do the things that I want to do in a creative capacity during that time. Now that I have all this knowledge, I feel very powerful and happy to be a woman.
Oh, that was such a beautiful answer. Like that was so fucking beautiful. Like when I first met you, you were suffering. You were suffering in your body with your cycle. Like you didn't like that part of you as a female. And now you understand it as it's the tool that you have to become so powerful. The more you use what you were given, the more you're like a superstar in your own body. And I think we all need that hammered in our heads currently. Like every single day I hear people saying, I hate this. Like, what do I have that? I'd much rather be a male. And I'm like, if you only knew how much easier it is for you to actually be productive and creative and utilize different strengths every single week and get things done faster compared to someone who has the same cycle, the same type of thinking every day, it's very different.
One thing you told me, and this is something now I tell all the females in my life, is that having a period is like having a free blood test, because it gives you so much information if you pay attention and if you have the right knowledge. So this is something that you told me and it stuck with me, and now I even say it to other females. So yeah, it's really like a superpower. It's not a weakness like I used to see it. It used to feel like a punishment. Like, why am I being punished for existing like a woman and getting a monthly period? Now it doesn't feel that way. Obviously, also helping my PMS symptoms helped me not feel that way, but also, understanding why that happens and the amount of knowledge you can get out of it.
So, how would you say, if you could describe it, how's your relationship with your menstrual cycle and your body now versus 5 months ago? Like, what's the difference?
The difference is now I feel way more connected. Now I'm thankful to have a period. Now I'm thankful and I understand why I have a menstrual cycle. It's part of a 28-day cycle. It's part of functioning as a female in this world, and it's not a weakness. It's a phase that you go through, and if you know what's happening with your body exactly, you can utilize it. You can make the best out of it. You can channel your guts and you can understand all your thoughts a lot better. It's crazy to say all of this. It feels almost like a spiritual awakening, which it could be for some people. But it's so much knowledge. With knowledge comes power, and I just feel like a lot of women need to know this. It's not they want to. Obviously, in the end of the day, everyone makes their own choices, but I feel like every woman needs to know everything this program has. We would just function so much better as women in this world.
Amen to that. Okay, love that. So, what were some of your breakthroughs throughout the program? Like, what were some of the realizations you're like, oh my God, like, interesting?
A breakthrough moment for me was when I understood my menstrual cycle, and I understood different colors may mean different things. Different colors could indicate different things about your body. To me, I feel like that was very insightful. Then, when we started working closely together, and I started even inserting some herbal supplements in my lifestyle, which were so easy to put in my lifestyle, the fact that my cycle just got fixed so easily, I was like, wow, that's it? That's all I had to do to fix it? Like I was suffering for years, being put on the pill, being off of it, all the mood swings that came with all the different choices and all the choices I had to make, didn't like any of them. And then all of a sudden now I'm eating all the right things, implementing all the right herbs and supplements that I would need for what I'm dealing with, and boom, it got fixed. I think that was a breakthrough moment for me when I realized it's not pharmaceutical drugs, it's not things that you buy in the pharmacy that's going to help you. It's understanding your body and adapting to what it needs. There is one thing that really shocked me when I found out in the program, and it's because I have PCOS. I didn't realize that working out for more than 30 minutes could have reverse effects on me. I think that was one thing that really shocked me. And I saw the difference and I started losing weight even without having a crazy routine like the crazy routines I've had before at the gym. And also timings of workouts. I didn't realize that working out late could increase my cortisol levels and could ruin my sleeping pattern. It's just so many small things that enhance the quality of my sleep and just living and existing. I think those small things were the things that shocked me beyond what you read in articles and on online medical reports or wherever you read. It was just a lot of new information for me.
So in your case, it's very specific, but the majority of women will suffer from the same thing, which is you're burned out and you're gaining weight or not being able to lose weight. And how you think you're going to be able to do it is spend as much calories at the gym. The problem is when you're burned out, your cortisol is really high. And what cortisol loves to do is stick with that fat molecule because it's a survival mechanism. And so we are pushing the cycle of not being able to get rid of the weight because we're not listening to how our body is trying to do the damn thing now, which is like if we're burned out, we're going to limit our exercise to 20 to 30 minutes and we will see or start seeing the results by doing just that. So doing less actually works better for the majority of women in the beginning of their healing journey. Now, with that being said, you can definitely push yourself once you have a regular cycle, once you got a hand of your cortisol. If you're not burned out or stressed out all the time, you can push and gain a lot more muscle and lose maybe the extra fat that you're still needing to lose. But in the beginning, that is a world of a difference to start seeing the results happening. With that being said, what were some of your favorite things that you learned?
There's a lot of things. This is a difficult question. Knowing about I feel like knowing about all the herbs and being able to use herbs to help me on a daily basis. Like, for example, if I was feeling a bit bloated and irritated because I'm in a PMS phase, knowing that mint or licorice could help me through that phase, I feel like almost like a magician. Like I know how to um, biohack a lot of things now, which is a word you use a lot. Like, let's biohack this. How can we biohack this? And this is now a question that I ask myself a lot. Like, whenever I deal with anything or my body is going through an irritable phase or an inflammatory phase, I would always ask myself, okay, how can we biohack this? Because of you, obviously, I started saying that. But yeah, I think that's my favorite thing, knowing that almost everything you do in your life, you can biohack.
What would you say to someone who is on the fence about saying yes to getting supports, to starting to heal their cycle, to heal their hormones? to feeling better? Or would you say someone's on the fence about it?
I think if someone's on the fence, they should really list all the things that is holding them back. So whatever's holding them back, they should list that, and they should really ask themselves if these are real hurdles or if these are only mental hurdles. Also, I really do recommend for anyone to reach out to you and ask you about anything whenever they have any concerns, because I feel like that's what helped me the most. Whenever I had a comment or a concern or a question and I asked you about it, you were very open to answering. And that just made the process much easier, and it made saying yes so much easier. So I think for anyone that's in the fence, I just want to say don't be on the fence. I know everyone goes through their own journeys and timing is everything for sure. But if this is something that someone can't do now, definitely at least table it to give it a chance later, or to have at least a one off session if they can with you, just to understand what could possibly be covered. I just feel like the amount of knowledge that you gain in these months and the amount of support you get in these months is not something that you can get anywhere else, or at least nowhere I know of. I don't know where else you can get this type of coaching support and so much scientific knowledge about how your body functions.
How does life look like for you now that you feel this way?
My life is different now because I have clear resources, I have clear solutions to obstacles that I face daily or monthly. So let's say the reason I'm mentioning this example quite a lot, because you know that I have a few stomach issues. But let's say I have a stomach ache. The way I think about it is very different than how I used to think about it. The way I think about it now is, first of all, I try and remember everything that I ate. I try and think of what do I have now in my cabinet from all the organic amazingness that I own that can help me. Sometimes there are things that are just in your fridge that can help you, but if you didn't know, you didn't know. So I feel like my life now is just so much better because I have all these resources. Like, who would have thought that packing a small bottle of apple cider vinegar whenever I went out could help regulate my blood spikes, making me not crash during the day? I wouldn't have known that without this program. And this is just one piece of information amongst so many. The way we cook, the way we clean, the things we use on our hair, the things we use on our body, everything. The way I look at everything now is different. The way I read labels of products now is different. And the way I think now is this gonna serve my body? Is this gonna impact me later in life? True, I'm not perfect. Maybe I am consuming a few things or still using a few things that are not the best for me, but it's the fact that I know that I can have an alternative, or I can keep looking for an alternative. I think having that knowledge is just a game changer.
What about like how are your mornings? How are your afternoons? How has that changed?
Waking up is just so much easier, and I think that's been the biggest deal for me, because when before joining this program, waking up in the morning was absolutely miserable. I still have a long way to go, and my mornings can definitely be so much better, but the fact that in 5 months we were able to just fix that, waking up early, having a small morning ritual. I didn't even think I was gonna be one of those people, or not exhausted enough to do that. I never thought that would be possible for me, but now I am not exhausted in the morning, so I can do things for myself in the morning.
Complete shift in quality of life.
Definitely.
Tell us about how was your experience working with me? Like, how was that?
Being coached by you, it felt like so much support, so much love, and you were always very open. So whatever I bring to the table, I never felt judged. You always embraced every single challenge I had with open arms, being from stomach bugs I got, from the sicknesses I faced or dealt with, we always found a solution. We always found a remedy. We always biohacked all situations that I was dealing with. And I feel like we built a really strong support system in this program. And in the end of the program, you really did feel like a friend to me, not just a coach.
How was your experience with Becky?
I really liked my experience with Becky. Again, it's the same with Becky. Becky felt very open to talk to. I never felt forced or pressured to do anything. A lot of things just came very naturally, and Becky was always open for me to do things in my own timeline and in my own space. It felt very easy with Becky. Like even opening up felt easy because Becky helped loads with the inner child healing part. If anything, I actually wish sessions with Becky would be longer. Uh, it wouldn't be so short. I wish I had more time with Becky.
Same, honestly. Every time we have a session together, I say the same thing. Was there anything that surprised you about working with me?
I think what surprised me was how proactive you were via message. So when I'd message you about a supplement or about something, if it wasn't the right thing or if it wasn't the right solution, you wouldn't just say no, avoid this, try and look for something like this. You would say that, and you would even go above and beyond and send a link and share brand names, so you made the process so much easier and so much more accessible that it was just so easy to look for solutions and products and things whenever I needed to.
Let's say that you exist right now, but like 5.5 months old, like Marah also exists, and she's trying to make a decision on whether to say yes or no to this program. Speaking to your old self so that she can make a decision, what would that be?
I would say making the decision to join the program, like it was in my gut that this felt right and this was the best move for me. So I would just tell myself, just trust your gut. You're really burnt out. You need this support right now. Just go for it. I think that's what I would tell myself.
Is there anything else that you want to say from your heart to anyone who's listening?
I guess if there's one last thing that I can say, I would say if you really do want to get knowledge about your body as a female and you really want to change your life and you're so sick of all the solutions that have not been solving anything, so they're not really solutions, go for this program. No diet, no pill, no crazy gym routine helped me until I came into this program. Just do it. If you can do it, do it. Why stop? Why stop yourself from doing this program?